I've come up to get a higher view. I put this pond liner down. Check that out. How much cooler is that? Way better. I'm not going to have anything leaking, dripping through. It's all in one sheet, so it's thick as well, and it will act really nice to keep any water from getting down underneath onto the floor. So it's done. That's like permanent fixture there. I'm going to go ahead and do it with the other two rooms too. So this next couple weeks coming up, at some point I'll get into the smaller grow room and then into the larger grow room. Cannabis, and then all the leafy greens, which I harvest like daily, which is why they're not as big as they could be. They're neatly pruned. So here's Swiss chard. Here's kale. Lettuces, little lettuces I just put in that are coming up. There's some mustard greens and some lettuce. This is a pepper tree. Sweet peppers, look at those. More kale there. Strawberries up under this cannabis. So those strawberries are now starting to flower. I don't know if this one has a flower yet. I don't think so. But the ones out in the other room are flowering, and I hand pollinate those with a brush. And this is beet greens. And then the other cannabis is back underneath. Back here is kale and kale. Mustards. Here are more kale, dazzling blue and scarlet. And then this is lemon basil, which actually started to flower, and I've been eating it. It's really, really good, lemon basil. Here's another pepper tree. Will be a pepper tree. Another sweet pepper. You see there's some coming in down there. And over here is turnips and rutabaga. Now these are going to be for me to eat the greens. That's pretty much how I do it with them. I'm not worried about the roots coming in thick, though they probably will at some point if I let them continue to go and go. This is Swiss chard, more Swiss chard, and aloe vera. So the aloe veras, I'm actually the larger ones, the larger leaves I have out in the other room. This is bok choy, tatsoi bok choy. I am slicing them and eating them, just eating the meat right out of them every other day, give or take. And I'm just doing it that way to get my aloe. This is kind of a smorgasbord of basils, kale, lettuce, and salsify, and kale. So that's what's going on in here, and it's nice. I say this room is just under construction. I'm patching and doing work over here, patchwork. So I'm gonna get that squared away and then paint the walls with my paint. I have organic powder based paint, which is really nice. It's non-toxic. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then put the pond liner down on the whole floor in here, and then reopen this room and have all three rooms, you know, up and pumping. Starts that are what's left of my starts. I got a couple more aloes I gotta do something with, and then some strawberries down there, and turnips and rutabaga greens out here as well. So here is another pepper. You see the pepper. Now these are self-pollinating. They just, or whatever, they just come up without me having to pollinate or anything. So that's how peppers grow, and they grow as trees like indefinitely if you just have them in a warm climate, and produce a ton of good peppers. I love it. Been eating them like crazy. More in here is flowers of the strawberry type, and this is my avocado tree. So underneath it I've just companion planted And down in here is kale, looks like. And more kale. And then another pepper tree. Pepper tree, pepper tree. Underneath the pepper tree is bush beans. Oh, so on this avocado tree, I put these pole beans. You see it stringing up. It's going to vine its way around the avocado tree is what I'm hoping, and it acts nice and grows a bunch of beans all up on my tree. Down in here is my avocado tree, which I'm probably going to put some lettuces up and around here too. 1, 2, maybe even 3 underneath the avocado tree companion plant. And then strawberries and more kales, older kales, still growing strong from the stalks you see. Then here's a pepper tree with the strawberries underneath, which are all starting to flower. There's just a lot of flowers coming in on these now. It's getting to be really nice and abundant. Down in here is some more starts that I just put in there the other day, so they're little. And here is my aloe vera. There's my fire extinguisher. Safety first. And more strawberries underneath and around. Pepper trees. I pruned them all up, so I let these little bits at the tips and pruned them up really nice so that they will hopefully grow a bit better. And there's not so much focus on all that foliage, and they can focus on growing taller and maybe producing me some good fruits here. And then another little pepper tree, and that's the gist of it out here. I'm gonna get a heat shield before I really get my wood burning stove operational. I'm going to heat shield it underneath and then around it so that there's no chance of, you know, burning things getting too hot, burning the house down, that kind of stuff. I'm gonna plastic the window with black plastic, and this air filtration, I gotta clean that. I got real dusty, but that's like a cover for this air filter, and I'm gonna clean that off and keep that running. Then there's a fan here that keeps airflow. All of my prep buckets kind of build a divide. I just moved my baby chicks outside into the garage where I built a section in there. I moved one of my rabbit hutches out of the way, and now they're in there, and they're gonna grow out. They were getting real big in the little bin I had them in, which was downstairs in the aviary, where I have black Jersey giants right now that are almost full grown roosters. There's 9 of them left down there that they're growing out to be harvested for meat. They are large birds, so they produce a good amount of meat on them. And once those 9 are harvested, I'm going to move the black Jersey giants that I have, the babies that are growing now, that I just moved. I'm going to move them down there. And then I have some hens out there too that I'm going to find a space for and have a bunch more hens. Because I got like 26 sex link out there right now that are laying eggs. Probably half of them are laying right now. It's winter. I expect, you know, spring and summer they'll all start laying again, which they haven't even started yet, I don't think, because they're still young, but they're starting to lay now. They've been laying. And then the babies will come up, and I'll find a spot for those new hens, which are Isas, which are out there. I'll show you in a minute, the babies I just moved out there. And then I'll find a new spot for that. And I also have a new, a separate project in the 3rd rabbit expansion in the yard where I built the coop under the deck. I have 6 hens there as well. And I'm probably going to put a rooster with them when I get to that, so that I can do a breeding project and try to get broody hens and hatch out my own chicks. So I have to figure out how I'm going to do that with the rooster, though, because I can't really have a rooster making noise. So I got these crow collars that people argue are not the nicest thing to use, but I have to use it. And what it does is it stops the neck from opening up to make the loud crow noise that a rooster makes. And that I'm going to keep one rooster, the biggest one I'm keeping,
and I'm going to try to do that. I may just have to put them down in the aviary to do the breeding project for the broody hens and move them from out there to in there at some point coming up, just so that the rooster's not outside. That may be what I do, and then I put hens out there where that coop is under the deck. I'll put all these new hens that I have coming up and maybe expand onto that coop to make it a bit bigger under the deck there. Utilize every bit of space, so that's what I might just do for the new hens coming up, and then the ones that are out there, put them downstairs after this grow out of the Black Jersey Giants. Let's go check it out. These are the chicks. This is their section I built in the corner. They're going to sit in here with their water and their food. Water dish stays warm with the sunbeam heat mat underneath it. It's elevated up on a bucket. This is a rabbit hutch. It was in the corner there, but I moved it. These were where my mini Rex were, but my mini Rex now just hang out in the garage. They run around. It's easier just to let them run around in here, and they keep guard. They watch. They're my bouncers. They sure there's nobody intruding, and everybody is good.